Alright, so as you know, I cannot change the camera once I start recording, so I've got it on the front camera thing. So there's me, and I'll just kind of hold it until I get tired, and then I'll maybe put it in the there's the thing. Let me see, does this have any? Yeah, it's got some personal information on it. Let me see if I can scroll past that. I can't. Let's do this. Let's turn the screen off. So they've got my this is the Geo tab. That's where I have my phone mount at. So this is the truck. This right here is a premium like thing. This is an upgrade, having the push button transmission. It has an option between economy and power mode. That option is only available if you have this push button thing. So this version of the truck is the premium, like XE package. There's a whole bunch of upgrades on the truck. Like the T780 itself is like the premium version of the sleeper truck. It has the bigger sleeper, and it has a bunch of standard features that are optional in the others. Man, I didn't clean up before I started recording. Maybe I shouldn't be just pointing this every damn where. I'm not a dirty person though, so yeah, I've been sleeping up in the top. So the APU doesn't work. It does not have an inverter. Those were two really big reasons I bought this truck, and the sales guy lied to me about it. I don't even want to talk about that. I just get pissed off thinking about it. I don't know how much money I'm going to have to spend getting an APU and an inverter. Like the APU, I need to get it fixed, and I need to get it serviced, and I need to get the Freon charged on it. I'm going to get all that done in Springfield, Missouri at APU Center. I've called around. It's a pain in the ass to find somebody that will even work on the APU, and then when you do, their prices are astronomical. Like carrier dealers, they want like $300 an hour labor, and so they're going to charge a minimum of $300 just to change the oil. That's just labor cost. Anyway, let's not talk about that. What's going on right now? I have an engine fault. Okay, how did I get this engine fault? It's a sensor. So when I first got the truck, it was low on oil. When I looked at the dipstick, it was at half on the dipstick. Well, in my Kenworth, this is a Volvo by the way, in my Kenworth, whenever it was at like 3/4 on the dipstick, it would take a gallon to get it up to full. Well, I didn't want to like throw a whole damn gallon in this thing, so I'd put like half a gallon in, and then I checked it again, and it was way over full. And as soon as I started the engine after that, it came up with this engine fault. So I overfilled the oil, and I haven't been too concerned with it because my oil pressure has always been between like 20 and 60. It's never gone over 60. My temperatures, all of my gauges have been okay. It's just reading that I have too much oil in there. And I haven't been under load yet, and I'm afraid to pull a load with having too much oil in, because it can cause pressure, too much pressure in the engine, and that oil will escape somehow, and it will damage gaskets. It could cause a tremendous amount of damage. So I want to get this fixed before I pull a load. I've been perfectly fine bobtailing around. I've done tons of miles on this thing bobtail with it having a little bit too much oil, but I'm afraid to pull a load with it, and I don't want to cause serious engine damage. So it is Tuesday. I don't know when the last time I uploaded a video was. I think it was like Friday or something. I just haven't felt like making a video because I've been really just kind of depressed. I don't know if depressed is a very strong word. I've been like bummed out about the APU and the inverter. I'm really upset about that situation, about the APU not working correctly and the inverter not even being existent. There isn't an inverter on here. It looks like somebody, whoever had this truck before me, probably had an aftermarket inverter and they took it with them whenever they moved out of the truck, because I can see where an inverter was mounted. There's a hole in the floor where the cables were run. Some of the cable shrouding was even left behind. Little pieces of it where they ripped the cable out of that hole, pulling the inverter out. So I called APU Center. They said that they sell, or they said that they install inverters and they fully work on APUs. They service them, they repair them, they charge the Freon. TA, I checked with them and they will only perform basic service. They don't do repairs and they do not charge Freon on APUs. And the Freon is low on this APU. I hope I don't have a Freon leak. Let me just go over what's going on with the APU. The APU, whenever I just turn it on and I don't turn on the heater or the air conditioner, just the APU running, it leaks oil really bad oil leak. I checked the oil on the APU and it is extremely overfilled. I think there's already been damage to the engine because of it being overfilled. I don't know. I think it might have had an oil leak, and whoever had the truck before me was just constantly putting oil in it. So to reduce the amount of time, or the amount of time spent filling up oil, they just started overfilling the oil. And they just, maybe this happened right before they were gonna get rid of the truck, and they were just like, no, we're not gonna pay to repair it, so just ride it till it fails completely. So I'm hoping they didn't cause too much damage to it. I hope the repair cost isn't too insane. The inverter, they're selling 2,500 watt inverters for $266, and they better not charge very much to install it, because it's going to be an incredibly easy install. They don't even have to drill a damn hole in the floor. It's already pre-drilled. The mount points for it are already pre-drilled. If it uses the same mount, if it's the same, anyway, you get what I'm saying. They may have to drill holes to mount it if it's a different brand. But so what is that? So okay, also the headlights on this thing are so out of adjustment that I can't see shit at night. I don't know which direction they're pointing. I don't have any tools with me. My toolkit is at my house. I haven't made it to my house since I bought the truck to be able to put all my crap in here. So I only have clothes and my computer. That's pretty much all I brought with me. So I had it in the shop. So I casually drove from Fargo. And I think I made it here Saturday night, like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or so. No, it was probably around 9 p.m. when I finally got down to West Memphis. And just kind of chilled here over the weekend with no inverter and the APU having issues. I wasn't really able to play on my laptop or anything, so I just sat and watched Netflix on my phone mainly and browse stuff. And then Monday morning, I checked in with the shop, and they said that they had to do an inspection on the truck first. Then after the inspection, then they had to put all my stickers on it, install this Geo tab, give me my permit book, all that stuff. But the inspection had to happen first. So I said, okay, cool. I gave them my keys, and then I went and checked into orientation like Christina told me. Christina told me to check with the orientation people, and they were going to have me fill out some paperwork. She said I was not going to have to go through orientation again, but I had to fill out paperwork with them. Which reminds me, I'm going to keep recording while I walk over there. I just walked by the guy a few minutes ago, and he told me there was some other paperwork he had to give me, and I forgot to go back over there and talk with him. But when I got in there to orientation, they told me to take a seat, and I was like, well, I'm not actually here for orientation. They were like, yeah, you are. I'm like, I'm switching over from company to, and they knew who I was and everything, and they were like, yep, take a seat. He said, you're not gonna be here through the whole orientation, but you're gonna be here through the orientation. So I sat through probably half a day of orientation, mainly just filling out tons of paperwork, and there was a bunch of extra paperwork I had to do, and there was a whole bunch of paperwork that they were doing that I did not have to do because I'd already done it. So some stuff transitioned over to the lease side, some stuff did not. They issued me a new COM data card. The old COM data card says USA Truck Company. This one says USA Truck IC for independent contractor. What else? So yeah, I basically sat through like half a day. When it came lunchtime and they ordered lunch, they actually had me fill out what I wanted for lunch. And then when all the lunch orders showed up, mine wasn't there. And I was like, what's the deal? And he was like, I don't know. Well, let me figure it out. I'll make sure you get lunch. And then he went over and talked with somebody and came back, and he was like, yeah, you're free to go. We're releasing you from orientation. That's the reason you're not getting a lunch, is because you're done with orientation. It's like, you sons of bitches. Had me sit through it all day, and then I missed out on the damn lunch. Then by the time that was done, my truck had already been inspected. They didn't get around to doing the rest of this stuff on Monday. They told me that I would have to get it done, the next day, Tuesday. And damn, that's a loud engine. So I crashed for the night. And I got up at 4:30 this morning, went over to the truck stop, Love's, took a shower, and then came back over here and checked in with the shop as soon as they opened at 6 a.m. And then I went back to my truck and went to sleep. Somebody came over and knocked on my door at like 8:30 and told me to pull into a bay. I pulled into a bay and talked with them about where they were going to place the Qualcomm and what all they were going to do to the truck and everything. I wanted to know what they were going to do because, they're about to start screwing holes in the dash and stuff. So I wanted to have some say in the matter. Well, while we were trying to figure out where to put it, and I started looking at places, I found the place where they had the Qualcomm in there previously. And it looks like they had the exact same system. They had the exact same holes cut out that this one used. It looks like they had the amount in there previously that was the exact same kind. And I was like, well, that works out. Just use that spot. And he was like, all right, good deal. The guy was really cool. So they got all of that done. And after they got that done, I checked with the shop. They just started a brand new program here at USA Truck where independent contractors or lease operators, whatever you want to call them, are able to pay for shop service at $70 an hour rate to do work. They have a list of things that they can do. They don't do any major work. They don't do anything that really requires more than 2 hours. And I was the very first person to use that program that they started last week. And what I asked them to do was drain some oil out. I explained to them the situation with the oil, which I'm not sure if I mentioned that on the video yet. Okay, when I got the truck, it was low. Hey, I was just about to come find you. What's up? All right, we're back in the truck. I paused it while I was talking with him. He just basically told me to go inside and grab paperwork from the head orientation HR person or whatever. So she gave me that packet. They gave me a new badge. They said the badge that I have right now is going to get turned off, the one I'm wearing. So they said they're going to turn that one off, and I'll have to use the new one. And they basically printed out all of my paperwork that I digitally signed. So I have physical copies of all of it. I also have digital copies. They emailed digital copies to me. So I have tons of copies of everything. So I was talking about the oil. So I can't remember if I explained the oil earlier. Whenever I got the truck, it was sitting on like half, according to the dipstick, it was at like half, oil on the dipstick. It was really low. Well, in my Kenworth, whenever it was at like 3/4 on the dipstick, it would take like a gallon to get that last 3/4. So, I bought some oil and I put in about half of a gallon, and then I checked it again, and it was way over the fill line. I was like, shit. I was like, I hope that doesn't cause any issues. Well, as soon as I started the truck, I got a check engine fault. And it's a sensor error. It's basically reading that it has too much oil. So I asked the shop here if they could drain some oil out, because I'm concerned with driving it with too much oil. I remember already talking about this, the oil pressure whenever I'm pulling a load. The other thing that I asked them to do is adjust the headlights. I don't have any damn tools with me, so I can't adjust the headlights. And I don't know what damn direction these headlights are pointed in, but it's not like at the road. I think that the left headlights pointed way up to the left, way up in the air, and the right headlight is pointed straight at the ground. I don't know. I think maybe both of them might be pointed up in the air, but I can't see shit at night with these headlights. Christina just replied to a text message. She still hasn't assigned me to an operations manager. Now, I've had access to the load board, and I plan on doing videos of the load board. I've been looking over the load board, trying to decide what I'm going to do. There are 2 places that I need to be. Let me finish my previous thought real quick. So I asked them to adjust the headlights for me. The total cost on draining out a little bit of oil and adjusting the headlights, $52.50 if I remember correctly. You have to pay with either a debit or a credit card. They do not have like money. They don't have a way to give you change if you pay for cash, if you pay with cash. So it has to be debit or credit. What else? So I've had access to the load board since yesterday. I might have had access before that. I'm unaware if I did. But I've been looking at the load board since I got access yesterday. The rates on stuff in this area are not very good. I mean, they're not abysmal. They're not like $1 a mile, but they're only like $1.45 a mile. They're not that great. I mean, I can still make money off of them, but they're not that great. Oklahoma City, I checked what was available in Oklahoma City, and there wasn't shit available in Oklahoma City. But Christina told me that I don't have access to Laredo loads. I don't know if, like, when I asked her if I could look at the load board yesterday, she told me yes, but you won't be able to see Laredo loads, is what she told me. I don't know if that was a temporary thing, and I'm going to eventually get access to Laredo loads. I don't know what Laredo loads, I don't know if that's just the Texas area loads, or if Laredo does some special kind of stuff. I don't know what exactly that means. I've been asking her tons of questions because I don't really know shit about what's going on. Well, anyway, the loads that I've been looking at coming out of here, I found one going to Topeka. It's a Walmart distribution center pickup to a Walmart distribution center delivery. It doesn't pay that great. It's like $1.45 a mile or something. But it has an extra day on it. So, once I'm able to schedule that, I'm going to call up APU Center and see if I can get an appointment for tomorrow. And if I can, then I'll grab that load and I'll be there as soon as they open up in the morning, and they'll have all day to install the inverter and get my APU fixed. And then once that's done, I can go and drive to the delivery on that load, which is in Ottawa, Kansas. It's just southwest of Kansas City. And I can probably get a load out of Kansas City, going either to my house or by my house. I'll get something that maybe has a couple extra days to deliver or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure something out. You can have a maximum of 3 loads at a time, and that includes your current load. So you can have 3 total loads assigned to you at a time on the load board. Right now, she told me not to, even though I have access to it, she told me not to request any loads right now because I'm in the system, but I'm not assigned to an operations manager or anything yet. So she said that if I request a load, if I choose a load on the load board, she said it'll go into limbo. It'll basically just get stuck in this. It'll just get stuck. It will never get assigned to me, and it'll go into an abyss, and it'll be a pain in the ass to get it unassigned. So that's the situation I'm in right now. I'm waiting for them to give me a call to get me into the shop to drain out a little bit of oil and to adjust these headlights. And then I'm still waiting on Christina to get me assigned to an operations manager and get me fully implemented in the system and, all that stuff. Because I'm not, like, on my Geo tab, I don't have an option for hours of service or anything. I just have basic login functionality. So I have not been assigned to anyone or anything yet. So, yeah. Oh, another thing to mention. Since I was hanging out in the break rooms a lot for the last 4 days, there was some young guy. I don't know how old he was, but he was young. And I don't know his exact situation. I know that he took the driving test on Monday, and I think on Monday, and he failed it. And he took the driving test recently, and he failed it. Now, what I'm talking about is the driving test that USA Truck gives you, not like your CDL test. So apparently he already has a CDL, but he was doing his driving test here at USA Truck, and he failed his drive test. And apparently you only get 2 attempts at the drive test. So they put him up in a hotel, and they let him drive around in the yard and practice with the truck. And there was one of the orientation people or one of the safety people, I don't know what exact department the guy was in, he was going out and helping him out. My guess is that this is somebody that just got out of training. He just upgraded and he's trying to go solo, and he's doing his solo drive test to upgrade, and he failed his drive test. That's my guess. I'm not 100% sure on that. Something else I'm going to ask before I leave here. They have DEF right up there. And I'm like 102% sure that lease drivers can't go up there and fill up their DEF. But I'm gonna ask. I mean, shit, I'd hate to find out after I've been driving here for 8 months and I could have had free def here the whole time. Um, I'll ask. You know, you'll never know unless you ask. But I don't think I'm allowed to, as a lease driver, go up there and fill up my def tank. But so anyway, about that guy, he whenever I was in the office building, which is this, the building right here is the maintenance building. Behind it to the right over there, that's the office building where they do orientation and stuff. They have a whole bunch of hotel rooms in there and all kinds of stuff. The hotel rooms, they said, are male only. If a female needs a hotel room, they're going to stay in a real hotel. They don't let females stay in the rooms they have in that building. But dude, is that same cab driver that picked me up? It is. That's the cab driver that picked me up. He plays WoW on, I think he said on Tichondrius. No, he started out on Tichondrius. I don't know what server he's on now. I forgot. No, Proudmoore. He plays on Proudmoore. Yeah, that's the cab driver that took me to the airport. But I ran into him today when I was in there, and I asked him if he took his test again, and he said, yeah. And I was like, did you pass? And he said, yeah. And I told him, congratulations, that, good luck and all that stuff. Yeah, he was putting in, like, a lot of effort into trying to he was putting forth a lot of effort. I'm glad that he passed, because when I was there, he was, like, asking the person that was helping him, the safety guy or whatever, he was, like, trying to get as much practice as he could. He was trying to get as many people to help him as he could. He had a really good attitude. And I'm glad that he passed, and I hope he does well. What else is there? That's about it. So the two places I need to be one is Springfield, Missouri, to get the APU and the inverter. And I'm also going to have them charge the AC on my truck, because I think it needs to be charged. And what else? Then I need to get to my house and pick up all my crap. I thought about going to my house first, but number one, I couldn't find any loads going to my house, to either Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Nothing going to Oklahoma, basically, in this area. So it's going to be easier for me to get to Springfield, and it's kind of pointless for me to pick up most of my stuff at my house without an inverter, because I want to pick up my microwave and my cooler. Well, my cooler hooks up to a one of these 12-volt outlets, so I could use my cooler, but I have a refrigerator right now. I need to pick up all my food. Most of my food would require a microwave, so a lot of the stuff that I would pick up is kind of reliant on my microwave. Also, I need to order a TV, which I need to do some measurements and stuff. Is that an International? No, that's a Kenworth. That's a new one. I don't like the newer Kenworths they have here, because of the collision avoidance systems and the idle systems they put in them really suck. The older ones are better. The collision avoidance systems aren't as aggressive. They don't brake as hard or as often and stuff like that. They don't alarm as much. They don't disable your cruise control. And the idle systems, they have APUs in the older trucks. The newer trucks, they don't have APUs. They have battery heaters, and you have to run the engine. And I was just talking with somebody that has a a new International, and he said his truck. One? All right, so I'm going to have to stop the video. That's the guy that's working on my truck, and he just told me to pull into Bay 1. So, thanks for watching. I'll upload more videos because there's a whole bunch of stuff. Bye.